Paula.
Hi guys.
How are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm good. Now we know this subject is really hard to talk about.
Yes, very touchy. It's a very touchy subject.
But of course we can't overlook it. So
Right.
now my first question to you is, have you ever been the abuser? Not the abusee.
Aha. You got my vocabulary
Okay.
together. Okay. Well, if you ask my husband, yeah. I mean, like, I domestic violence him every day, apparently. It's because I talk with my hands, so like when something's really funny, I be like, ah! Ah! So like, if that's is that domestic violence?
Well, okay. Now I'm bigger than your husband.
Mm-hmm.
You know, a little more curvy.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
That-
That's definitely.
But so if you can move me doing that, then I'm sure he almost flip over the back of the sofa.
He's strong. He's strong. He a big
So
strong
if he's
man.
telling you, but no, if he's telling you that's abusive, do you think you should change?
I think that when if he said it in a laughing voice, then no. But if he was to say it like for real, like, babe, you abusing me, then I would rethink it a little bit.
Okay, so let me ask you this: have you ever been angry and lashed out?
Oh,
in physical
no.
manner?
No.
No.
I'm thinking as you asking, I'm thinking, but no, I haven't done it out of anger, more just like out of like if something's funny or something's interesting, but I've not ever like hit him out of anger. No, I threw some things. Oh, that's domestic violence too.
That's still good.
Goodness gracious.
Because okay, let's think about it. Let's talk about it. Because when you think about domestic violence as women, as it pertains to a woman's relationship to a man,
Mm-hmm.
we're always expecting it to be the guy who
Right.
is the
That's
aggressor.
true. Yeah.
He's the one that's hitting or pushing or whatever.
Mhm.
But there is a form of abuse that's verbal.
Oh, that's
So
true.
a lot of times, what comes out of our mouth is very abusive,
Okay.
and it may even feed into turning that situation to a physically abusive situation.
Well, yeah.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I definitely understand that.
Because I'm guilty. I'm guilty of being verbally abusive when I'm angry.
Is that the truth?
That's the truth. Now I'm better now than I was when I was young. Like in my 20s, oh, I had to get you.
You had to
I
stab
need and turn the knife. Like with my words, even. Not it didn't always have to be something physical,
Mhm.
but it had to hurt.
Mhm.
You know, so I oftentimes see situations where women lash out at men,
Mhm.
and then when the man returns it with a physical,
Physical
like he
force.
does this,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know, or this,
Ooh.
or this,
Then it's
then
definitely
you know he's the bad guy.
Yeah.
But I mean, did we not start it?
Right. That's always been an argument of mine as well when it comes down to domestic violence. Because I'm a woman and I know that if I want you, I'm gonna get you.
Mm-hmm.
Like I feel like sometimes we provoke it, to be honest. Like I feel like sometimes we can provoke a person or a man that's not, that type of man. Like he not the type that will hit you or slap you down or anything like that, but with our words and the way we come at this man, like we can provoke it. So I've always felt that. I mean, in past teenage relationships,
Mhm.
I can say that I was definitely a provoker. Definitely. Like, don't walk away from me
Mhm.
because I'm talking to you.
Mhm.
So allow me to finish what I'm saying before you decide that it's no longer important to you. Because if you turn around and walk away, I'm just gonna follow you. I'm just gonna follow you.
So you were an antagonizer.
Yep, I'm coming.
Okay.
I'm coming for you.
Okay. And we share that
Mm.
because that was my way of winning. Like,
Yes.
for as far as I'm concerned, this argument is not over unless I won.
Definitely.
Once I feel like I won, the argument can be over.
Right.
But if not, then we can go on and on for days. Like I will never tire
Yeah.
of coming for you. So, I often wonder as women, do we always find a way to kind of like forgive ourselves ahead of time? If he hits you,
Mhm.
and I'm in no way, we are in no way condoning it.
Right.
But if he hits you, then everything you did prior to the hit is now justified. So if you cussed him out, you talked about his mama, told him he ain't gonna never be shit, he wasn't shit when you met him, ain't shit today, ain't gonna never be shit, and then, you know, you just keep antagonizing. He walks away, you're walking behind him.
Yeah.
You know, and as I see women get up in a guy's face, like right here, you know, like waiting for and telling him, oh, you ain't gonna do nothing.
Right.
But when he does do something,
right,
then he's the
guy.
enemy.
Yeah.
You know, let's use Chris Brown as an example.
Ooh.
Because I'm Team Breezy.
I am. Oh my gosh.
And I know people gonna be mad at this.
Listen, it's been a couple of years, I'm sure, or months. I don't know when it came out initially, but I watched the documentary.
I did too.
And I always knew. I always knew this. Go.
So yeah, you know, for me, watching the documentary was great.
Yes.
Right? Because it led us into like him.
Right.
And one thing about Chris is he oftentimes will like get on Instagram or Snapchat or, you know, whatever social media, and he's just like ranting about this is what you guys are doing to me. And you know what? I don't give a shit no more.
Right.
You know? So it allowed a lot of people to kind of look at him and say, yeah, he was the devil incarnate. Absolutely. But watching the documentary and then hearing him actually talk through the entire situation, you realize that they were toxic for one another.
Yeah.
You know, and again, not condoning him ever hitting her because we saw the pictures.
Yeah.
And the pictures were horrific to look at. But understanding that in some relationships, that turns into a form of communication. You know, it's almost like Rihanna made a song shortly after this incident happened with her and Chris, and it was with Eminem. I love the way you lie.
Yeah, yeah.
Right. So even in the song, they're talking about if I want to leave, you're not gonna let me leave, and if you try to leave, I ain't gonna let you leave. And you know, I burn this house down with both of us in it before I let you go.
Right.
Like the song spoke to a very toxic relationship.
Yeah.
But why is it that only Chris has to pay for it?
Because she said something.
Because she said something
Because
first.
she said something first.
And at what point could he have said something? Like how many of you guys, if a male friend comes to you and says, my girl beat up on me, like the first thing we're gonna do is laugh.
I mean, yeah, let's get out the way first.
Yeah, first thing we're gonna do is laugh and kind of like jokingly say, well, man up, dog. You know, like why is you complaining or whining about this thing that's happening? So it's almost like a man doesn't get to say, I'm being mistreated.
I think that they have the opportunity, but pride gets in the way. Like I don't know of a man that will come out and say, you know, my girl verbally abuses me, because that's what it normally is when it's coming from the woman. You know, it's normally verbal abuse. Like she's normally like.
So you don't think women?
No, I know women definitely have a tendency to hit, but it definitely starts off verbally. You know, it starts off verbally, and I don't think that men have gotten to a place where they're able to disclose that. You know, that would, for me, if my homeboy came to me and said, you know, my girl be tearing me up, like her mouth be spitting fire at me, I would definitely believe him. And I would say, so what are you gonna do about that? You know, how are you gonna fix it? You know, what is she saying? You know, how can you mediate what's going on between y'all without getting somebody else involved? Because she ain't gonna like that. Let's just put that on. She ain't gonna like that you talking about her, even though we be talking about that. So I would definitely accept that first before I accept, oh, she hit me. She did what?
Because okay, we're plus size, we big girls, right? And in the past, like a lot of people that I dated, my wife is the first person I dated that's so much taller than me. You know, she's much taller than me. I don't know that she doesn't weigh as much as I do, but she's much taller than me. So she got a reach, you know.
Right.
If she needed to retaliate, she got reach. This is as far as this arm is going. Like I haven't even hit you yet.
Clearly,
and the whole arm is extended, right?
That's the whole arm. Okay.
So, but for her reach is long. Even if I try to get away, if she wanted to
get
get me, she could snatch me back. So, but a lot of times as bigger women, we tend to have smaller mates. So,
okay.
And I know I've had a lot of smaller mates.
Okay.
You know, small, not necessarily shorter than me, because I'm not attracted to somebody shorter than me really, but people get shorter than you. People do. There are people shorter than me. Thank you. But you know, when we're looking at, you know, smaller in stature,
Yeah.
you know, smaller size person.
Yeah, body wise.
So that has kind of given me that feeling of like I could hit you. I could. Because what you gonna do? Like what that little hit you finna give me back? What that, like that's gonna bounce off me. And I've seen bigger women, you know, take on that bullying kind of
wrong,
way about themselves with their mates because she's a big girl, you know.
Y'all
And so
because
when big girls, you don't think so?
No, well, not me personally. I want to be a teddy bear, you know, like, you know, I get real coy around men.
I believe that, but I believe that they get your timing wrong.
To get my time wrong?
When this opens, a lot of fire is coming out.
No, I'm a very nice individual. We
gotta call hubby on this.
I think a lot. Okay, recently, no, for real. Okay. I think a lot before I talk. Like, if I think it's gonna rip your heart out and fall, you know, throw it on the ground and stomp all over it, I'd be like, I shouldn't say that. I shouldn't say that. Don't say that. Let's sugarcoat it a little bit. Let's put some ice on it. You know, I'm really not that girl. Like,
I have learned, now that I'm 44, I have learned that if you stick to what you're upset about, you have a less tendency of saying something violent to someone.
Mm-hmm.
So if I'm upset about the fact that you didn't take the garbage out, then I want to stick to that in what I'm saying to you.
Right.
Because where the hostility and where the combativeness and the, you know, antagonist in me comes from is I want to find something that's going to hurt you personally.
Okay.
You know, and not stick to what this argument is really about.
Right.
Because I can't imagine that you come home and you ask your husband, take the kids to the park. Let's say that. You get home, the kids are still like, Mommy, you want to go to the park? And they haven't been to the park yet. If you can stick to, I'm mad with you because we had an agreement that you were going to take them and now I'm home from work and now they haven't gone and I still got to jump into mommy mode and go to the park, that argument goes one way. But if you start saying, and last week, when I asked your ass to put gas in the car, and then the other day, when your mama called, you was able to get your ass up. You know, when it turns into that, I feel like that is like fueling a fire that can go in any possible direction, and all directions lead to disaster.
Yeah. And one thing I learned about domestic violence and just even like seriously watching that, I mean, all domestic violence, Chris Brown, you can take it back to Ike and Tina, like just learning about domestic violence, it's a bunch of stuff all that gets thrown at one time. You know, it's not just what happened at that moment. It's never that. It's like 6 things that happened 2 months ago, the thing that happened a year when we first met, like all of that gets bottled up and thrown at one time, and that's what creates this domestic violence situation.
Well, do you think that it has to do anything to do with the way we were raised? Because if you came from a household that discipline was all about hitting, you know, there was always a whooping that was about to happen. Do you feel like, and we'll get to this after the break, so we have time to kind of think about it. But when you think about if in fact you grew up in a household where that was kind of the measure of did you get it right or wrong, then do you take that with you into your adult relationships because that's what you know?
That's deep. Let me think about that.
And then the next part to that is then can the abuser ever change? Like we talked about previously in a previous show, can we let someone be who they are today and not who they used to be?
Right.
But do you think someone who is abusive, can Chris Brown ever come from up under that? Right? Can he ever not be the guy he's just the guy that beat up Rihanna? You know? But we'll talk about that after the break. We'll be back in 2 and 2. Now in the meantime, guys, We need you to hit the subscribe button and subscribe to our channel. This is the Curve-Unplugged, and we'll be back.
I am Cola T. Harris, and you're watching the Curve-Unplugged.
Welcome back to the Curve-Unplugged. I'm your moderator for the day, Coach Keish. And now joining us on the couch, we have Miss Perla Celeste.
Hello.
And we also have Miss Keena Monique.
Hey, y'all.
Welcome, ladies.
Thank you.
So today's discussion is about domestic violence. And when we went, right before we went to break, we started a conversation about Chris Brown and Rihanna.
Mm-hmm.
And my question is, why do you feel he was the only one that had to kind of wear it? Like, why was he the villain in the situation? Right. And Perla, I can see on your
Because
face.
he started it, right? He started it.
Negative.
He finished it.
He finished it. He did not start it.
He finished it. So, you know,
Okay.
Chris
We watched
Brown
the documentary.
has a documentary.
You watched
Yeah, we
Okay.
watched the documentary.
He has a documentary.
Okay.
And there, you know, here's from the documentary, here's what we were able to gather. Like, their relationship was a bit toxic.
Mhm.
Like, they were always back and forth. He hit her sometimes, she hit him at times. On the night in question, she went through his phone, and well, he wouldn't give her the phone, and she grabbed his nuts.
Really?
She put the death grip
Yeah.
on the family jewels,
Yeah.
and then we know what happened next.
Right. And then on top of that, the whole situation, the reason why she wanted the phone and the reason why, you know, she got aggressive with him first was because of another girl. She was in her feelings, like, why
You
she
should never put
hit.
a hand on a woman. It doesn't matter.
But so she could put her hands all over him, do whatever she wants to him, but
I'm not saying that either. I just still think that he should be.
he walked away a few times. He did.
What do you expect to happen if you grab a man's balls? Like, what do you expect? And not in a loving, not in this way, not in the
Caressing.
this,
Rub it down.
not in this way.
Can do both.
But if you aggressively seize
Still,
his man
you're
parts,
still not supposed to hit a woman. I'm
what
sorry.
should happen in that case?
She bit him.
Where?
She bit him.
Does it matter where?
He shouldn't hit her. I just still think a man should not hit a woman. They are held to a higher standard. They're stronger. They are not supposed to do that. I mean, if their mother taught them right. I mean, that's what I think.
Okay.
What about her mom?
Okay.
Girl.
Keena, come on,
I
chime in.
think being a sister who has an older brother, I fought my brother all the time. So I do think a guy should defend himself from a woman, but with a certain amount of force. Like if you just push her a little bit, maybe just like put your hand on her neck.
Are you listening to this? People?
But
No.
no, really, because I really do think that men should.
Put your hand on her neck a little bit.
If she hit him first, if you grab a guy by his balls, it's very painful. So yeah,
Restraining
to get her
is one
off,
thing, definitely not by the neck.
imagine getting her off. I can imagine. You never know. It could have been a substance involved, alcohol, but still, a guy still has to protect himself. And I'm saying that because I fought my brother my whole childhood. So
I never fought my brothers, but I have brothers. And my first question is always, what did you do? So yeah, I feel like if you did something, you should expect something to be done back. You know, I don't condone them actually, you know, like coming across their head and, you know.
but let's put it this
Smacking
way.
him
So you
down.
had a son, and your son was Chris Brown, and you found out that his girlfriend is physically harming him. What would, because that's your baby, no matter how old he is, that's your baby. So what would your advice be?
I would raise him to not hit a woman and to walk away. I understand that. I would either restrain her, holding her back, whatever it is you need to do to like hit the door, like just go, leave the situation. You know what I'm saying? If you need to do one push to go, that's what I suggest
She
people
threw
do.
the keys out the window.
He
Okay.
could have called 911 and you could have called 911. You could have called the police on her. I mean, whatever it is.
Remember what I was saying earlier. I did say that earlier. If the guy feels like he's being, you know, abused or whatever, if he comes out with it first and in a proper manner, then we'll be.
Because what happens is a lot of women do. I mean, I understand that women do initiate or instigate or won't allow them to leave and are constant. I understand that. But, if he doesn't touch her, then they'll end up being framed. There's so much stuff that could happen that it's just the best thing is to do not touch them and walk away. I would never want my son in a situation like that. And that is the only thing I could teach him. Like, don't put yourself in that situation. Just get out of it. Because what it'll turn into is either he doesn't touch her, it'll be twisted where he would. Like this restraint that you're saying, all they have to do is have any mark in their neck or in their skin that you could tell that someone did it, and that's enough for them to be taken away and be taken to jail. So I mean, I just feel like don't do it. Don't do it.
The other side of the coin is me as a grown woman. I understand how strong a man is, so I'm not going to hit a man first because I don't know if he's that type of guy that just believes in not touching a woman. So I'm not going to create that situation for him to actually hit me back. Don't touch him at all.
I think that's one of the things we may be lacking when we're teaching our kids. Like when you're teaching your daughter how to behave in a relationship, are we teaching them that a man should never hit you? So the underlying message is, but it's okay for you to hit him.
Right, no, that's
if we don't
definitely not.
teach our girls to have restraint and a certain level of respect and decorum about themselves, like when to walk away as a woman, then how do we hold men? Because I heard you say you hold them to a higher standard. Why is there a higher standard when it comes to that? Because we're all having a human experience. Like a human emotion is just that. And I know, for one, I've been in an argument with a guy, and I used to be an antagonist. So if I wasn't done talking, we're gonna keep talking. Even if he's saying, Keisha, enough. Like I don't wanna, whatever, you're right, okay, I'm done. But I'm not done, I'm not satisfied. I just keep pressing. Right. Let's think about, let's switch to like Evelyn and Chad Ochocinco. Now we remember Evelyn Lozada from Basketball Wives. She was the one that would jump on the table, fight a woman like in the middle of a restaurant. She would grab you walking down the street. She was always the bully, and everybody on the show knew that, right? And then she dated Chad, and they got married. And then there was this incident where they got into it, and he headbutted her, right? He lost his entire career in football behind that incident between the two of them. Now, mind you, he'd already been warned a couple of times about some of his behaviors, but again, he paid the cost for it.
Wait, I'm sorry, can you backtrack 1 second? Who paid the cost for their behavior?
He did, because his NFL career was finished.
Right, but so you described Evelyn as to having obvious issues prior to him leaving her.
Correct.
But did he have? Because didn't he have cases?
They were both like combative people.
Right. Prior to.
I don't know. I've
being
never
together.
heard of him ever hitting a woman. Like I've never heard of that. But to say he'll disregard you really easily, yes. And he was very arrogant. That's his nature. And he's from Miami. So when I saw the two of them together, I said, this is not going anywhere good. Because you can't put two pit bulls in the house together. Like you can't. She's not going to back down. He's not going to back down. But when they finally butted heads, he lost his career, and she got to go on The Y'all Fix My Life.
She needed to fix it.
And painted herself as a victim in all of it. But we saw her ourselves and her behavior and her tendency to be so explosive and so combative. Like, how do you not feel she was had some responsibility to what actually transpired between the two of them? Simply because he's a man? She doesn't have to own any of it?
Right, I understand you.
That's definitely. Well, let's take the situation with Safari and Nicki Minaj, where he claims that Nicki stabbed him, and in order to prevent her image, he lied and said he tried to kill himself. Now, if that was him doing that to Nicki, he would have been blackballed.
Absolutely.
And that's serious. Like, to cut someone till they could bleed to death, that's really serious.
Well, all these women crazy.
And that's the thing I'm wondering, because I know that when we get to domestic violence, and this is, Again, not taking anything away from victims,
Mhm.
but victims look different in every situation. The
Yeah.
victim can be the guy. The victim has been the woman. There, even as plus size women, that was another question we brought up in the first part of the segment, was do plus size women tend to be a little more aggressive because, you know, we weigh more. So it's like, I've seen, you know, a big girl get up in a dude's face like, what? Like, okay, bring it. Because hitting me and me hitting you, same thing. That's
and
how
I
she
feel like
feels.
ultimately a man is always stronger, and that big girl will get beat down.
You feel that way?
Yes.
Oh.
That's why I feel like a man should not hit a woman, because ultimately I think they are stronger, and that they're more powerful. And even the skinniest guy I've ever been with has always been stronger than me, no matter what. They're just
Because
See, that's what I was saying. I'm more
Were you
coy
never in-
around men. When I get around a man, I'm more like, I can't open a pickle jar. You know, I can't open the mayonnaise. Like, you can
but
ask
you're
my
not
husband.
mad right then.
No, you
Just
can ask.
like Pearlie, you're not angry right then.
No, you can ask my husband. I could be real mad at him about something like taking out the trash. Like, I'm always mad at him every week about that. But if I can't open this baby cup, I will throw the cup at him. Open the cup! Because I can't open it. I ain't got no strength around him. I'm coy, little buddy.
How are you coy if you threw the cup?
I throw that cup right at his head and he pop that thing open and walk it back over to me. But I
So
can't
what if he
open
threw it back?
See, then that's
What
a
if he?
fight.
What if he?
That's a
popped
fight
the lid?
because you popped the lid and now whatever was in there came out on me and you knew that there was something in there because you wait. I need to do that. See, you got me up. You got me riled up. You got me riled up. I'm riled up now.
created a whole scenario.
You done created a whole scenario for him.
But
Now
this is what I'm talking about. This right here. Because, okay, now that, as you know, I only date women. So, I have apologized to the guys that I used to date because I realized how nagging a woman can be on a
Ooh.
situation. Like, I've come to appreciate that sometimes y'all ass is just too damn much.
Oh.
Like, it's just too much.
Oh.
Shut up. You said it already. I heard you. What else do you want from me? What can I give you so that you can just shut up?
Right.
You know,
Beating
and
us
I
to
think
death,
that
beating them.
when we think about abuse, we always think about hitting, but sometimes your words are your punches.
That's true.
And how many a man is usually not as quick with the verbal assaults as we are. We got 10 already in the chamber before he even get the first one out. You ready to talk about his mama? You ready? You have been waiting. You've been saving that shit about her nasty ass potato salad. You've been waiting to say something about that lady because you knew the day would come when he would push you and you ready to say it. So, at what point do you realize that even in the way we carry ourselves, you know, and we can be very aggressive, even if not physically, we are already contributing to a violent, a toxic relationship with someone.
That's true.
That is.
Have you not ever gone off the deep end on somebody, Pearlie?
Of course. I have, but
Did
I
he
still.
hit you?
No. Like, if it's something that I've instigated or something that I even got in violence, I've never been hit. You know.
Okay. I think you think about it right
No, because I'm thinking of 21 and over.
now. Okay.
21 and over.
Okay.
But I was in a verbal abuse, abusive relationship and physical abuse. So it's almost I've forgotten about it. I literally had to go through my journals
Oh, okay.
last year when we were talking about this subject. So I forget. It's like gone. But yes, I have.
Mm.
But it was more like, you know, when you get like that type of abuse is like almost you don't even realize if it's coming, because if there's a catalyst to you know, back and forth, you know, you see it coming.
Mm-hmm.
But these type of domestic violence is kind of like it just I don't know, like all of a sudden you got hit, like you know, all of a sudden you got hit. So that's a little different. I feel like, you know, with an altercation, it's back and forth and you know it's escalating, but it's kind of like one of those that you don't even realize is coming.
Okay.
So
And
yeah,
I
that's a
wonder
little
in how many situations that you didn't see it coming. Because oftentimes, like, when we get to the part where we're hitting each other, how many things have happened that led up to that? That it really didn't just come out of nowhere. It was coming. We saw it, we kept figuring it out along the way, but it was coming the whole time, because how many times am I gonna shoot these words at you?
Right.
And how many times are you gonna do those things to me? Or
Right.
cut off my debit card while I'm out, and then I try to get gas and my car won't go through. you know, or you broke the windows out my car, or you know, didn't pick me up from work and I had to get a ride. You know, you didn't answer my calls and I've been calling you all day. How many times have we kind of saw it coming and just chose to look the other way? But we're gonna get back to that. We're gonna get back to that. When we come back from break, guys, stay tuned. Now don't forget, subscribe right down here at the bottom of the screen. But we'll be back in 2 and 2. This is the Curve-Unplugged.
Hey, Kina Monique here, and you are watching the Curve-Unplugged.
Welcome back to the Curve-Unplugged. I'm Coach Keisha, your moderator for today. And our topic today is domestic violence. Now, before we went to break, Perla, you have a list of signs that we should be on the lookout for?
I do have a list. So number 1, humiliation, verbal insults, physical violence, controlling behavior, unpredictable mood swings, picking at your faults, alienation of your friends and family, placement of blame, manipulation, and calculated outbursts. So calculated outbursts are the ones that what they do is not have an argument in front of everyone here. They'll just like wait till they get home and then tell you, what you did wrong and all the things that you did wrong and why. Then it escalates and, those are the calculated outbursts.
So I want to make a point to what the list you shared with us, that the majority of that wasn't physical. The majority of that, 9 out of those 10 things that we should be on the lookout for are not physical, which says to me that so many women are abusers, are capable of being the abuser, because the only thing that tends to get on Front Street is the physical violence. But all the other things, manipulation, controlled outbursts, embarrassment, her humiliation, I think is one of the ones you brought up. What else did you? Controlling behavior. Like anybody is capable. Verbal insults. Like anyone is capable.
Unpredictable mood swings. That's only once a month that we go through those.
But realistically, anyone is capable of it.
Yeah.
So it's not just that guys can do this to girls, but that anyone is capable of being an abuser. Because all of those things, in my experience, mine was physical, but it did start out as like alienating, wanting, I just want you all to myself. I don't want friends and family and all these, like they're in our business.
Which looks like love.
Yeah, it sounds like, oh, they love me so much and they just want all my time. But in that case, it was more like, I need to get you alone so that I can control you. I need to get you away from everybody else so that when I say something or do something to you, there's no witness to it because you don't really talk to anybody. And the culmination of my situation was getting into a verbal argument, and when I woke up, it was the next day. Like, I don't know what I got hit with or like what actually happened, but I woke up, it was the next day. And
So you remember being hit?
I don't even remember the hit. I remember the argument, and then I woke up.
So you lost the whole day?
At least a half a day, lost it.
Whoa.
And when I got up, the knobs were all taken off the doors, replaced by a deadbolt lock that only he had the key to. And how I got out of that situation was, I was sitting in the house, this was a few days later, sitting in the house alone, and his friend came to the door with the keys and came in and said, we got stopped by the police and he doesn't have his ID. He said his wallet is on the mantle. And I looked at the mantle and I motioned that the wallet was there on the mantle. As soon as the friend walked to the mantle and that door was open, I hauled ass out the door with pajamas on, no shoes, and I was gone. And what got me completely out of it was after he came back with the license, apparently, he still wound up getting arrested and he went to jail. And that was where the line was drawn and the separation was able to happen without incident. Because at that point he was completely taken away and he couldn't do anything, you know. But not everyone has that moment.
Yeah.
You know, so many lives have been lost, male and female, in domestic violence situations, and mine escalated really quickly. But it was because I didn't take note of all the other signs. The fact that when someone meets you and you're a lively, the thing that they probably were attracted to you because of becomes the thing they hate you for. You know, they met you out being lively, having a good time, laughing, talking, joking, you had a lot of friends around, and that got their attention. But that's the thing they hate. And they want to take you away from all of that.
Right, because someone else is gonna like that about you, and they definitely don't want anyone else to have you. So that's part of, you know, if you're,
Yes.
why are you so friendly? Why are you this and why are you that?
Yes.
You know, exactly all those things that, you know, it would appeal to anyone else. So that's why they make you secluded.
Don't like your hair the way it's always been, you know, or your
Exactly.
clothes, or, you know, definitely not your friends. They definitely, and it's always that person who was like, I don't like people in our business. Like, that's the biggest thing, biggest crock of shit to me, that you don't like somebody in your business.
Right.
Because, you know, a picture on Facebook is not our business. You know what I mean? Like, a picture of us sitting here together, that's not our business. Me sharing, girl, you know, that light bill didn't get paid, the lights gonna get cut off, that's our business. But even the simplest things that they call their business, it's just a way to control the situation.
Me personally, I've never. I mean, now that we have this list of stuff, you know, you start looking at every relationship you have been in. Like, well, I've been in an abusive relationship since relationships started, baby.
When you raise your voice, and you gonna hit me?
Exactly. But I mean, when like during the break, Keena was talking, and it was like, what is your like? What makes it like these things are happening, but what makes that, you know, abusive? What makes that, you know, what turns that into a domestic violence? You know, and I was saying, like, I feel like it depends on the person, you know, like, I guess, like, what you can take. I mean, because
How high the threshold,
right,
the threshold is for,
right,
for the
because
BS.
I think I have been approached by a guy before that was like full on. He was too aggressive to begin with. So like from that moment, like we were at a party and like, okay, you see me, I was cute, you want to dance with me, but now I can't dance with nobody else.
No, it's like this.
Son, I don't even know you.
Nah, bro, find somebody else to dance with.
Like, you know, and that for me was like, okay, I can't do this with others. No.
But some people have found that sexy, you know, like you meet this, like I honestly, when even though I'm a lesbian, like I'm not blind to attractiveness of men, you know, really, I'm not blinded by it, you know, I still find guys attractive and I can still see the attractiveness, and the kind of guy I would be attracted to is kind of rough like that though, you know, like I haven't found Mr. Preppy, shirt and tie, tucked in, like he hasn't been my dude. But someone like kind of scruffy, you know, a little edge to him that the average person not just gonna try him. You know, they gonna think twice before they say something to this dude right here. Like that's, you know what I'm saying? Like to me, that's still hot. That's hot to me, you know. And even when I think about the women I've dated, the majority of those women were more masculine identifying. So they were still more like, like don't come for me. You understand?
This
Right.
run
So-
that you are doing.
That's my Rick Ross and
Right.
Like
It's
that.
a lot for me, like, no.
But you know, but seriously, I think sometimes it's what we think is what attracts us can oftentimes be to our detriment.
Yeah.
Because if that's his way, if we meet somebody in a club and they're drunk, wasted on the floor, that may be their way.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and if from the day he meets you, he's already like, don't talk to her, don't look over here, look over there, then that's already saying to you like, this is what you signing up for.
Yeah, it is.
So is it his fault or her fault if we sign up? Because from day one, I showed you that's how I get down.
We give too many chances. We have to just,
Yeah.
you have to nip those things in the bud. That already, you see those signs, you have to keep it moving.
I know.
But again, I'm 43, so I've learned this. This is why I wanted to make this list, because I feel like we need to speak to the youth, to teenage girls. I see so many cases that are happening in high school. Yes, absolutely, and boys. I know. Teach them both. Okay, what not to do, what to accept, what not to accept. What is the behavior? Make sure the parents know, the teachers, what's going on, because there's a lot of cases of children on either side committing suicide because of these relationships that they think it's everything to them right now, but they're teenagers.
Yeah.
They feel like it's the end of the world. They feel like they're not going to love anyone else, or no one's going to love them. And so that's why I wanted to make sure that we go through this list, so we see those signs. Yeah, that's definitely what's.
And Keena, what were your thoughts?
I think the list is a very good way to gauge that threshold. My parents, when going through the divorce, I was about 10 or 11, it was very emotional for both of them, and they ended up arguing in front of me and my brother, and my dad ended up pushing my mom. And I never held it against my dad that he's an abuser, that he's a horrible person. I just understood that they both were going through something. So I think the things that are on that list did not apply to my dad, and that definitely to me does not account for domestic violence. But had my dad had those characteristics, I would probably say otherwise.
Okay. And and I also, and to piggyback on what you're saying, Keena, I think that we all have heard people say, when someone shows you who they are, believe them the first time.
Right.
But it's always attributed to something negative. Like, we can be great people and make a bad decision in a moment. Because when your emotions are elevated, when a situation is elevated, when you feel like you're not being heard or understood, like, that takes a toll on all of us having a human experience.
Yeah.
It takes toll on everybody. And even when we're raising our kids, like, I'm very conscious. I have 2 sons. That the way I speak to them, they've never been fuck boys, puss ass niggas. Like, I don't do that in my house.
You mean the language?
The language, the abusive, tones, and the way you speak to them. Even when I'm angry, I've yelled, but then I know how to come back. Now let's have a conversation. Because at the end of the day, we teach them what's acceptable in relationships. So if you call your daughter a bitch all the time, and now a dude calls her a bitch, she don't know the difference, because what was different in mommy saying it and him saying it?
Right.
So I think that as we're raising our kids, and you said speak to the young people, we are the walking, talking examples in front of them. Like, they see this. So whatever it is that we're showing them is acceptable, whether we're taking it from someone else, dishing it out to someone else, or the way we communicate and handle them, that leads to all of these things being either okay when they get into relationships, or it leads to them saying red flag.
Right.
If it's a weight issue, I've had someone tell me, if you lost a little weight, or my grandmother used to say, you used to have such a pretty shape, and for a long time, like, that made me feel like my expectation in a relationship had to be lowered a bit, because I used to have this gorgeous shape. I used to be the kind of girl who can expect nothing but the best, but now look at me. I don't even look like that anymore. So I can't expect so much.
Right.
And then that's when a lot of this
Becomes okay.
A lot of that becomes, well, I don't want to be alone.
Yeah.
This
Right.
person loves
You
me,
accept it.
and I'm going to have to just deal with it. Maybe if I lose the weight. Maybe if I wear my hair like that. Maybe if I, go to the club more with them. Maybe if I drink and I'm not a drinker. Maybe. Like, we talk ourselves out of walking away, because the world has told us as plus women, we shouldn't expect much anyway out of our relationships.
Right.
And if we take
We're
that,
lucky to have them.
we're lucky. We are no longer the prize. So until we change that narrative, and hopefully by starting these conversations, we are, but once we change that narrative, then it changes a lot of things for a lot of women and a lot of young girls.
Right.
Because you want to look in the mirror and see somebody worthy of being spoken to in a certain way. Like, I don't answer to, hey, Red. You know how you walk in and the guys are like, hey, Red. Like, I don't answer to that. Because I think that starts accepting something you don't want to accept. Instead of, hi, my name is, what's your name? You know, or don't answer to the boy with the pants hanging down with his underwear showing. Because he doesn't respect himself, he's not going to respect you. Like, all of these lessons, we absolutely have to teach.
Right. So it's kind of having a standard, know what to accept and not from the beginning.
From the beginning.
From the
And
beginning,
you are
so
who
you know.
you attract. For
Oh.
one.
Oh.
So it's no, really, because
Right.
if you don't like you may attract someone who also is gonna treat you the way you feel.
Well, girl, she done brought up another topic.
Exactly. I was going to
We gonna have to write that down and bring that back, cause that's the
That's
thing.
another show.
That's
That's a whole nother
thing.
show.
All right, ladies. Well, I want to thank you guys
Thank
for
you.
us opening this dialogue. And we do want to give the numbers to the domestic violence hotline before we go. The number to the domestic violence hotline is 1-800-799-7233. And for the hearing impaired, 1-800-787-3224. And I want to thank you ladies for all wearing purple today, in honor of those who have lost their lives to domestic violence,
Absolutely.
and to bring awareness to domestic violence all over our country and the world. So guys, before you go, make sure you subscribe right here at the bottom of the screen. There's a little button that says subscribe. Subscribe to our channel, and we will be back with another amazing topic. Thank you, ladies.
Thank you.